There is a specific kind of silence that screams louder than any argument. It's the silence of a man sitting in his car for 20 minutes after he gets home, because he knows the woman inside is someone he can no longer trust. You aren't just tired from work. You are exhausted from the deception fatigue. You're sitting there with your hands on the steering wheel, realizing that the person you would have taken a bullet for is the same person currently pulling the trigger on your mental health. You are the victim of the sanctuary breach. While you're out there bleeding for the mortgage, fighting the world to provide a life of comfort, she is inside using that comfort to hide a digital life that doesn't include you. You're witnessing a psychological heist of your prime years. She didn't slip up. She decided that your peace of mind was a small price to pay for her secret thrill. You're the victim of the invisible war. You think that by staying and making it work, you're being a hero, but behavioral observations show that a man who stays with a liar isn't a hero, he's a hostage. You are paying for a home that feels like a prison cell because you're afraid of the cold air of freedom. Today, we are breaking the chains of that fear. I'm going to show you why walking away into a quiet, empty room is the most masculine act of self-love you will ever perform. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're choosing to stay in a partnership where you are the only one playing by the rules, while she's already playing a different game with a different man. The most heartbreaking realization for a man is not that he lost her, but that he lost himself trying to trust someone who was never actually there. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay. Like this video and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong, because after this video, you will be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead, because we're just getting started. We have to look at the biological tax of treason. You see, brothers, a man's home is supposed to be his refuge. It's the one place in the world where your nervous system should be able to power down. But when you live with a woman who has cheated or lied, your house becomes a high-stress combat zone. You're the victim of hypervigilance. Behavioral observations show that men in these situations have permanently elevated cortisol levels. Your body is literally eating itself from the inside out because you are always scanning for the next betrayal. You think you're being strong by enduring it, but you're actually being biologically liquidated. You cannot build an empire when you are too busy checking the locks on the doors. This leads us to the illusion of the fixable woman. As men, we are natural builders. We think that if we just provide enough love, enough money, or enough understanding, she will finally value the peace we offer. This is a behavioral error. You are the victim of misapplied effort. You cannot fix a character flaw with a financial or emotional deposit. You're witnessing the corruption of the masculine mission. You've turned your entire life into a repair shop for a woman who is intentionally breaking the parts. You are being psychologically drained by a woman who doesn't want to be better. She just wants to be accommodated while she remains bad.
I want to tell you about a man named Samuel. Samuel was a successful small business owner, a man of integrity who believed that a man should stand by his woman no matter what. He caught his wife, Jennifer, in a year-long emotional affair with a guy she met online. Jennifer cried, blamed her childhood trauma, and begged for a second chance. Samuel, being a good man, stayed. He paid for expensive couples therapy. He stopped working late so he could reconnect with her. He even gave her access to all his accounts to show he had nothing to hide. Samuel was the loser in this story because he valued the institution more than his integrity. For 3 years, Samuel lived in a state of constant anxiety. Every time Jennifer's phone pinged, his heart skipped a beat. Every time she was 10 minutes late from work, he started spiraling. Jennifer, seeing that there were no real consequences for her betrayal, didn't become more loyal, she became more secretive. She realized that Samuel was too afraid of being alone to ever actually leave. She started resenting him for his weakness in forgiving her. Samuel was the victim of the respect vacuum. He spent all his mental energy trying to trust her, but you cannot manufacture trust where there is no honesty. He eventually lost his business because he couldn't focus. He developed high blood pressure. One afternoon, he found a second phone hidden in her gym bag. Jennifer didn't even apologize this time. She just said, "You're so obsessed with me, it's creepy." Samuel lost his business, his health, and his prime years because he was afraid of an empty bed. He failed because he thought a full house was better than a quiet mind. He realized too late that he wasn't saving a marriage, he was sponsoring a betrayal. You have to recognize the social programming of the martyr. Society tells you that leaving is the easy way out. They tell you that a real man fights for his family. But brothers, how can you fight for a family when the woman inside the home is fighting against you? You are the victim of social programming propaganda. You are being socially gaslit into believing that your suffering is a badge of honor. It's not. It's a badge of self-betrayal. Behavioral patterns show that children who grow up seeing a father who accepts disrespect grow up to be men who accept disrespect. You aren't staying for the kids, you are training the kids to be victims. The loser's loop is about the fear of the void. Most men stay with a woman they can't trust because they are terrified of the silence of a Saturday night alone. You are the victim of isolation anxiety. But there is a massive difference between being alone and being lonely. You can be alone and be a king in your own castle, focused on your craft, your body, and your God. But you are lonely the moment you realize the woman sleeping next to you is a stranger who would trade you for a thrill. You are being psychologically paralyzed by the unknown. You have to realize that the void isn't a scary place. It's the canvas where you can finally paint a life that doesn't include constant interrogation.
If you are still convincing yourself that knowing where she is the same thing as trusting her, you need to wake up to the reality of the surveillance trap. You aren't a husband or a boyfriend anymore. You've become a full-time warden in a prison of your own making. You're sitting there thinking you're managing the situation, but she's already figured out how to lie better, hide deeper, and gaslight you more effectively. You're the victim of the false sense of security. While you're feeling proud that you checked her phone and found nothing, she is currently laughing with her friends about how easy it is to delete her tracks. You're witnessing a psychological stalemate, where your peace is the only thing being sacrificed. She didn't change, she just went underground. You're the victim of the hollow union. You think that having her body in the room is enough, but behavioral observations show that a woman's presence without her loyalty is just a constant reminder of what you've lost. Today, we are finishing the path to sovereignty. We are looking at the final psychological shifts, the power of the empty house, the testosterone restoration of peace, and the mastery of the sovereign exit. I'm going to show you why the silence you're afraid of is actually the sound of your power returning. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're choosing to spend the rest of your life as a buffer for a woman who doesn't even like you enough to be honest. The most powerful moment in a man's life is when he realizes that he would rather eat a sandwich alone in a quiet room than a steak dinner across from a liar. I know men with standards are here. If you value discipline, respect, and strength, subscribe, like, and comment. We have to talk about the sovereignty of the single mind. You see, brothers, when you are in a relationship with a woman you can't trust, your brain is double booked. Half of your processing power is trying to build your life, and the other half is trying to detect her lies. This is a cognitive drain. Behavioral observations suggest that when a man finally leaves a toxic, untrustworthy woman, his productivity often increases by 300%. Why? Because he has reclaimed his mental bandwidth. You are being neurologically liberated. The void you are afraid of is actually the only place where your focus can reach its maximum potential. You are the victim of distraction-based poverty until the day you choose your own peace over her presence. This leads us to the science of the clean break. Most men try to wean themselves off the relationship. They try to be friends or stay in contact for the closure. This is a behavioral disaster. You are the victim of intermittent reinforcement. Every time you talk to her, you are re-poisoning your own system. Behavioral patterns show that the only way to restore your masculine frame is total information blackout. You must disappear so completely that she becomes a ghost in your history. You are being psychologically reset. By choosing to be alone, you are telling your subconscious mind that you are the primary asset. You are telling the world that your peace is not for sale at any price. I want to tell you about a man named Marcus. Marcus was a teacher, a man who loved his wife Sarah for 12 years. When he discovered she had been living a double life with a coworker, the old Marcus would have begged. But Marcus had been watching the brotherhood. He had been sharpened. Marcus was the winner in this story because he chose the great withdrawal. He didn't argue, he didn't ask for the truth. He knew the patterns were the truth. He moved into a small one-bedroom apartment. For the first 3 months, the silence was deafening. He felt the urge to call her. He felt the fear of the void. But instead of calling a liar, he called his brothers. He went to the gym until his muscles screamed. He started a side business in woodworking.
Marcus won because he realized that his alone time was actually reconstruction time. Within a year, Marcus had lost 30 pounds of stress weight. His business was thriving. He found a peace he hadn't felt since he was a child. He realized that the Sarah he loved was a character she played, and the Sarah who lied was the reality. He chose the reality of peace over the fantasy of love. When Sarah eventually tried to come back after the coworker dumped her, she found a man who didn't even recognize her power over him. Marcus didn't hate her, he was just indifferent. He won because he didn't save the marriage, he saved the king. He realized that his empty house was actually a sacred space where no lies were allowed to breathe. You have to recognize the testosterone restoration of peace. This is a biological fact. When a man is constantly stressed by a woman's infidelity or suspicion, his testosterone stays suppressed. You are the victim of emotional castration. But the moment you remove the source of the stress, the moment you accept being alone, your body begins to recover. Your drive returns, your confidence returns, your edge returns. You are being biologically reborn. Choosing to be alone isn't a defeat, it is a strategic retreat to a higher ground where you can rebuild your strength. The winner's protocol is about the high-value choice. You have to look at your life and realize that you are the prize. If a woman wants a seat at your table, she must bring total transparency as the entry fee. If she can't pay that fee, she doesn't get to sit down. You are the sovereign man. You recognize that being alone is the ultimate position of power because it means you cannot be leveraged by your own emotions. You are being hardened for greatness. Healing is the realization that a quiet home is the ultimate luxury in a world of loud lies. You are being reforged. You now know that trust is not something you give to a woman who has proven she doesn't have it. You are the master of your own psychology. You don't need a wife to be successful. You need a mind that is at peace and a soul that is unbothered. You are the sovereign man. You are the master of your own peace. You don't look back at the burning house of a toxic relationship. You look forward at the new world you are building for yourself. So here's the smart question for the brotherhood today. If you could trade all the good memories of that woman for 10 years of absolute, undisturbable mental peace and the physical health of a 20-year-old, would you honestly say no just to stay in a house with a liar? I want to hear from the men who chose the silence of the kingdom. How did your life change once you stopped being a detective and started being a man? For the brothers who are still staying for the kids or staying for the money, be honest. Tell us what the trust tax is costing you today. Let's get the engagement up so we can support the brother who is currently staring at a lying woman and wondering if he's the one who's crazy. Your words might be the declaration of independence he needs to finally choose his own soul. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in your power.